So this is my yearly sort of my favorite stuff that I found. Didn't necessarily come out this year, but my favorite stuff that I found that I've been using, and kind of a gift guide if you have someone in your life that does leather work and all that good stuff. So the first thing that I like to say is if someone has a hobby or passion, it's probably a bad idea to get them something involved in that hobby and passion because they probably already have what they need. But I've chosen kind of a bunch of stuff that in leatherwork, there's a lot of tools that you kind of put off buying. You're like, I'll buy it later, I'll buy it later. And these are some really good things to get for the leatherworker in your life, but it's also, if you're a leatherworker, a good time to maybe treat yourself to a little something that you might not own and you've been putting off getting. And these are all things that I've gotten pretty much in the last year. So let's go through some cool leather stuff. I'm going to get the shameless self-promotion out of the way first. My signature leather tools, we're really proud of them. They're affordable, they're very long-lasting, solid brass. This is the nicest brass that Buckle Guy makes. They actually make them themselves. The chisels we worked really, really hard on. I've promoted them enough. You guys have bought the ever-living hell out of them. I am extremely grateful. Yeah. So if you're looking for a set of chisels that's not $20 but it's not $300, this is a good, a nice medium that will take you all the way up to professional leatherwork like I use them for. I've had the sample set for almost 2 years now. They work fine. They've never had to be sharpened. They have them in all sizes. You can get them in singles, kits, anything you want. This one's a little weird, but an antique cobbler's anvil. If you're looking to treat yourself or to get something that someone who does leather work in your life may not have, this is an invaluable tool that I think a lot of people don't use or make proper use of. These are for shoes, and they come in lots of different sizes, and I believe they would mount on, you know, a rack, but you can just use them on your workbench. And these are good because they usually have 2, if not 3 different sides. You want to find one. You can see this one's kind of chunky monkey over here. I can only use that for like bigger projects that I'm using it on the back of. But if you can get one that's nice and smooth, you can usually find these for like scrap value at flea markets because people don't really know what they are, and they're not pretty enough for that whole Joanna Gaines farmhouse decor look. Now, what you would do with this is, if you were making a bag or let's say a wallet and you forget to install a snap, you just slide this in like that and you can install your snap. So I use this all the time. This one I've had for probably 10 years. I don't collect them, I don't buy every one I see, but once you find a couple shapes that you like, they're really, really useful. It's one of those tools that you kind of find uses for as you end up getting a couple of them in your workshop. Okay, the next one is, I don't want to say it's a subtle flex because it was just my idea at a boardroom and Buckle Guy made it happen. But this is Dunmore thread. It is Buckle Guy's new in-house line of thread, and it is a bonded nylon 66 thread just like Vinimo or any of your other favorite synthetic threads that's made by Buckle Guy and sold basically at wholesale. So this is a 1/12 pound spool. It's 3 times as much thread as Vinimo, and it's 1/3 of the cost of Vinimo. And I love Vinimo, but bonded nylon 66 is bonded nylon 66. They made a really great color arrangement. There's tons of cool colors. They're cheap. Give it a try. I'm not saying switch from Vinimo. I have Vinimo. I still use it. I love it, but same stuff, much cheaper. And you also get Buckle Guy's customer service, which is great. On the same front, something I never thought that I would try that got kind of forced down my throat by a... They didn't say use it in a video. They would never do that. But they were just like, I think you're just going to like this stuff. I was like, okay. Colored Toconol. They have it in black and brown as well as clear. Now, I've always used the clear, and you guys know last year, Toconol was on my list because I was always a gum trag guy. But the colored Toconol is on colored leather, like on black leather or on brown leather, is really kind of a game changer because it has dye in it. So when you're slicking the back of something or when you're doing the sides and you don't want to go with like a full dye job or a paint job, it gives it just that kind of rubbed in worn look, and then you can also shine it up to be like a pure black if you put enough coats on it, or a pure brown. They sell them in these little guys, so you can give them a try. You don't have to commit to like a big bottle. It's just nice to have. I don't use them much, but when I need them, it's nice to have them around the shop. Number 3, 4 or something. I did not own one of these until I was 15 years into my career, but a leather gauge. I'm pretty good at guessing the weight of leather after this long. I can kind of hold it and be like, yeah, that's a 5 ounce, that's a 7 ounce. But once you get into like 10, 12, 14 ounces and you start making bags and you start messing around with our next product, you're going to want to know exactly what size the leather that you're using is, because splitters are machines, and machines, while most splitters are very accurate, you never know. There's a reason why most leather is, at least in America, 4 to 5 ounce, right? Because you can get within an ounce, but it's very hard to get one full hide or half a hide or a shoulder completely consistent all the way through. So having a little leather guide, or you can get the big one that reaches deep in if you want. It's a cheap, inexpensive way to find the parts of the hide that you want to use for specific parts of whatever you're making, be it a bag or a wallet. Because it's great to be able to be like, okay, where's the thin part of the hide? I want to use that for pockets. It's less skiving. Then you can find the thicker part of the hide and use it for the exterior, and it's a little more formidable and it has more structure. A lot of you are going to be like, how the hell didn't you have a leather gauge? You've been a leathersmith since for like my whole life, or 15 years or whatever. I'm feeling old today. I just never had one. I just never got around to picking one up. And now that I have it, I use it all the time. So I think it's one of those overlooked things that it's like, reminder, pick one up. They're cheap. Wet molds. You guys know I love wet molds. I've made tons of videos on wet molds. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm currently developing my own signature wet mold that will help you make bags in like 2 hours. But this is one of those products where they take a lot of work to make. And so, because they have to be made out of marine grade plywood, because they have to be CNC cut so that they're super accurate, they are a little more expensive than you would expect. Especially the way Buckle Guy makes them, they put a ton of care into them. So they're even a little more than you would expect if you're buying them on like Alibaba and stuff. But I've had this wet mold for 2.5, 3 years. I bought it before I was even working with Buckle Guy. I've made hundreds of trays out of this. It's marine grade 1-inch, I believe, plywood. But this is great. It's a great gift for a leather worker, because most leather workers are focused on, some might have all of them, I don't know. But I'm willing to bet that a lot of leather workers look at them and go, that's really cool, and one day I'm going to pick one up, but I have other things I have to prioritize before that. And that's totally understandable. Which makes it a great gift, because it's something that a leather worker probably wouldn't buy on their own. Okay, I gotta duck down for this one so everything can be in the shot. Plants. I know this seems out of left field, right? But as leather workers, I know a lot of people are working in a bedroom or a basement, and you forget that there's an outdoors. You get really caught up in your work. Having a little greenery, you know that a leather worker probably doesn't have 15 plants, and if they have a problem like I do, they are probably going to appreciate you getting them a plant even more, because it gives them an excuse to have another plant without the guilt of buying one on their own. If there's one thing I've learned, I've always had plants in the workshop. It's always good to, even if you can't get outside for the day because you're really busy, to have a plant or some greenery or some nature, or just something that's not synthetic, or a tool or something to remind yourself to either get outside, or that outside exists, or just brighten your spirits a little, you know? So any sort of plant will do. This is a cool cactus that it's just balls. And a lot of the cool plants from COVID are coming out of tissue culture. So this is a white knight or something like that. I don't know. But you can get them, it's like Home Depot. I just got a pink princess for 20 bucks in a really nice ceramic container. So the cool plants were really expensive over COVID, and now they're coming down in price. A nice rubber tree is good. Anything but a snake plant. Don't get them a snake plant. No one wants a snake plant. Dentist office. If their leather shop is in the dentist office, you can get them a snake plant. But get them something cool that they kind of have to take care of, but like that only needs watering once a week. I would say that would be, you know, my advice. Okay, the next one I am very excited about, because this is a company that I've been trying to have access to. These are Toyo toolboxes. And you know they're cool because after Buckle Guy started carrying them, guess who did a collaboration with them? Everyone's favorite streetwear brand. And yes, I most certainly bought them. Toyo is pressed stainless steel that is powder coated. I have basically switched to becoming a toolbox guy. I have to make covers for a lot of these tools, but I keep everything that's really sharp in specific areas, and for now it works great. All of the dividers are made out of metal. It's typical Japanese quality. It's just way over the top, really thoughtfully designed. I think they'll even like customize a patch for you if you want and put like a little leather engraving right there. This is the Big Daddy. I really like these. These are little boxes that stack together. They have little dimples on the bottoms, and then they have matching dimples on the tops of the other ones. So you can just stack them together. And I have my locks in here. I have chain in here, and I just have a big stack of them. And it's another one of those things where not only are they functional, and if you need to use them for different things, you can, but they're also just really nice to look at. And I'm a big proponent in, again, having a nice, clean aesthetic in your workshop, because it just helps your motivation, it helps your psyche, and it's also just cool. And this is something that, admittedly, like, these boxes are not inexpensive, so it's not something that a leather worker would probably buy like 5 or 6 of on their own. But if you buy them one for a birthday and then you add to their collection for Christmas or Hanukkah or any gift-giving situation, you slowly build up a little collection for them, and they're able to, you know, have a little stack and keep their things organized. And it also is something that, I mean, these are the kind of things that you end up finding in Grandpa's garage, you know, 60 years later. Okay, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. Here are a couple small things that I really enjoyed. Now, Buckle Guy released their entire in-house line of tools, and there are some really good tools. I'm gonna go to my toolbox here, but they make a lot of edgers. We worked really hard on the shape of the handles, and it's just really comfortable to grip. They're not overly like Edwardian designed. The ball at the end is a really nice shape, and the tool itself is very sharp and easy to sharpen and maintain. And they're affordable. It's a hard wood. It's not, usually you see, you know, tools like this and they look nice, but they're not the quality of wood that these handles are. They're polished down to like a really nice matte grip so that you can hold on to them and they're not too slippery, but they're like really dense. My favorite of these tools are probably their French edgers. They're very easy to sharpen. They stay sharp. It's made out of a very nice steel. And for some reason, I'm not good with French edgers, and these I can use like every time. They work perfectly. So definitely those. And then second runner-up on my choice of Buckle Guy, new Buckle Guy in-house tool brand is their awl. Because you can get, so this is the awl handle. That's what it looks like. And the cool thing about it is, and I know a lot of companies make these, and that's fine, but you get to choose what kind of awl it's going to be. So I have the punching awl, which means that if I ever want to sew French style, or if I have one hole that I can't get to, you just pop the blade into the handle, you tighten the set screw, and I can use it as a diamond awl and get my Hermes on. But if you need it as a scratch awl, they also have a scratch awl tip. And if if the tip gets bent or broken or worn down, or you want to switch, you just buy another tip. I think they're like $3 or $4. We have this press, which is not going anywhere. They just updated the colors, so it's not lime green anymore. Thank God. No offense, Buckle Guy, but thank God. And the cool thing about this is the whole Buckle Guy press system, right? They make their dies for like 40 or $50. For comparison, those are all competitors' dies right there. I'm like holding a light trying to show you, like we're investigating a haunted house. But those are like $140 a set. These are $40 a set. They're self-centering and they're stainless steel. So you can get a hand setter for these for like $25. then when you're ready to upgrade, you can upgrade to the, I would say, mid-range stainless steel, cast iron. They made it pretty though. And yes, this is a stock product that they put their name on. That's totally fine. It's a well-working, self-centering press that has a nice overhang so that you can stick a bag in there and set something really deep. So this is the big daddy of my gift guide this year. This is the Bakugai, I believe it's the TLHP 180. This is their new press that is sort of a step up from the regular button press. Now, the cool thing about this is, I'm going to make a full video on this. First of all, the color is awesome. They let me have a little creative direction on it, so I picked a nice Land Rover vintage color. I designed a nice cool badge for it, and if that looks similar to the badge that Weaver uses, it's because I designed that one too, and they took it from me. But I'm not sore. I'm not sore, you know. And then if you don't like that, I wanted to make sure that, like, you know, social media is important. So it all depends on your aesthetic. And if you are not a super industrial aesthetic person, then on the other side you have just a nice clean brushed steel Bakugai logo and a nice clean color. We're no longer stuck with the reds and greens, which is nice. Brief overview, I have it set to set down, to push down to press things, but you can also take this screw out, put it, and flip this backwards, and then it's a backwards press. Then there's a stand for it and a foot press for it, so it mounts to the stand. So eventually I will show you the whole thing, but it is important to point out that this is, I think that press is about $200, $250. This press is almost $600. It is expensive. However, it not only comes with the set to use all of your Bakugai dies. So all the dies you already have from Bakugai that you used the hand press, then you used their less expensive press, and maybe you're looking for something that is a little more function heavy. This does a lot that press does not do. You can use all of your dies in this press. They fit perfectly. Not only that, you want a baller move, you can use Weaver dies, and you can use, I believe they call these West Coast dies. It's not a brand, it's just a style of die. So any die that is created for a press, you can use with these. You don't have to buy any new dies. It hangs over like this, so you have a nice area to stick a bag in. And, you know, this isn't screwed down, but obviously it would be screwed down. And it comes with every tool that you need in this nice carrying case that just sits in the back here. So to make any adjustments, you have these very thoughtfully branded wrenches that are made out of stainless steel, and they have a really nice feel to them, actually. And what I like about this piece also is there's a lot of thoughtful stuff, like if you work in a spot where you have little hands or people coming over and you don't want them to, you know, get their hand caught in a press. They've even done things so thoughtful as, now I've sanded this down because depending on how you have it set up, this gap is a little bit different, but you just take this little piece that's included, put it right there, and now the press is locked. And no one can come in and just accidentally press a hole in their hand. And you have all of your oil points marked out. It's just a really, really, really high-end piece. You have to remember, this is not a home crafter piece. Like, this is a factory grade piece, especially once I get the stand set up. I think this is the cheapest part of the whole system, is the actual press. So if you're okay with doing it by hand, I don't usually advocate for super expensive tools, but this is 100% worth it, especially because any dies you have, you can use. Any dies that people may give you, you can use. Any dies that you may want to buy, you can use. It's built out of 1/4-inch steel that's like laser cut. It's welded really well. It's powder coated super well with a really industrial finish. Yeah, I'll do a full video on it in a few weeks. It's just a little radius card. It's the size of a credit card, so you can use it to test your patterns. It has a 1/2-inch 3/4 inch, 1 inch, and 1/8 of an inch radius on all the sides. And then these curves in the middle are for you to make curves on your pieces. And they made them out of plastic, or someone decided to make them out of brass. And I think it was the best decision ever, because it's also a really good tool. I know that everyone loves the whole using the bone folder to cut all the loose glue out. That's like one of my favorite parts too. But you can use this way, and it's like really fulfilling to break all the glue joints after you stitching. I use this every day. Every day. It just sits on the bench, and because I saw it at first and I was like, yeah, that's cool. It's like a brass version of what I use, the tool that I use anyway. But having like these weird curves, it's not just for corners. Like you use it for a lot of different stuff, and then having the actual curves lined up to right angles where you can just place it on top of the piece that you've cut and trace the radius and cut it out. And if you can see, hold on, don't look at my hand. The edges are beveled. So it sits really flat on your piece too. It's just enough to trace around. It's not like chunky, so you get exactly where you want to go. This doesn't cost that much, and it's really cool, and I love using it. I know I've been like totally obsessed with these all year, but the magnetic button closure things that have the rivet back on them, oh, they make every piece look $10 to $30 more expensive than it actually should. And they're really easy to use, and they don't break like snaps. Look, I have one right on this piece. See how easy that was to open and close? That's an 18mm slap. Highly suggested. It also, I don't have an Amazon link for you. I don't know how to do Amazon affiliate codes, but this is a iVisisite G2. This thing is a light. And it's a light that has a USB-C port, and on the back, I'm going to be really bright here, you can see the control panel right there. And you choose, let's see, what am I going up to? You can choose your light temperature, and you can choose your strength. So it's really good if, instead of using, back in my day, about 3 months ago before I bought these, if I wanted, I have a big light right there, and it's dark out. And I'm getting fairly natural light. I also have lights behind me and all that stuff, but normally you'd put a reflector, just a white piece of paper or a tan piece of paper right here, or one of those shiny metallic things. But these do a great job if you have someone that likes to take pictures of their stuff. I think they're like 30 or 40 bucks. They do a great job because they're an always on light. And if you're not, I was a wedding photographer for 6 years, and I've been taking pictures for Corter for the last 16. So I know my way around a camera, I know how to make things lit. But if you're just getting into it, these are really helpful. Grab 1 or 2 of these. You can play around until either your phone or your camera, you can see the results. You don't have to worry about flashes. I don't think flashes are really a thing anymore, but you don't have to worry about momentary flashing. You can set up a scene and know exactly how it's going to look. And that's just really nice when you want to photograph your stuff, especially for like 30 bucks. I've used these more than I ever thought I would for fill. Like without it, I should have been using this whole video. Without it, look how boring that looks. But with it, now I look like I'm ready to throw some sugar on a fire and tell a terrifying tale. Are you afraid of the dark style? So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.